Hi and welcome to Facilitate Business Analysis. My name is Dom and I'm the facilitator for this course. This is a project-driven assessment. It entails a lot of research on your part in order to complete the 6 major tasks. Now, for those of you who are doing all 4 subjects within this course, by now you would have noticed that task number 1 is very similar to each and every of these assessments. The reason being that a number of students, they may not do all the 4 subjects due to exemptions or recognition of prior learning. So therefore, task number 1, it is similar for all the 4 subjects. So if you have already done the introduction for any other of the 4 subjects, then of course you can import the previously written documentation into this assignment. So therefore, to complete this particular one, however, you will have to consult this documentation which is provided to you on TAFE New South Wales Online. The business analysis process, it is into page 11 into the reading research file. All this is available TAFE New South Wales Online and stakeholder analysis. So these 2 files will help you to complete this section. Also, if you don't have a network to relate to, if you don't have an ICT infrastructure to relate to, if you don't work into the industry, then you are more than welcome to use the World Medic Corporation case study, which is again published on New South Wales Online. Oh well, let's review what it needs to be done. Your discussion as a minimum has to address the following. You need to give an overview of the company. You provide an overview of the selected company, its nature of being, what the company do, how it generates income, and how it identifies the company goals and objectives, to produce a list of description of identified goals and objectives to establish the targeted company strategic direction. So here you, in addition to what you may have done into the other previous subjects, here you need to show what the company really wants to do as far as strategic direction. We are primarily concerned through ICT infrastructure. If you are working onto the case study, for example, you will notice that the case study, they are really lagging behind the deployment of state-of-the-art ICT infrastructure. They did a major upgrade, which is in a separate document. You download from New South Wales Online, TAFE Online, but even with that upgrade, they are still far lagging behind to where they should be. So the company has to decide what is the strategic direction. Do they really want to be again the number 1 into the medical distribution business? If so, what they are going to do about it. So that's what you need to tell about the company overview, over and above what you may already done into previous subjects. The problems and challenges of the current business processes. Now, if you're working on the case study, you will find that it has a lot of shortcomings in that area too. Primarily, these problems are based on the inadequacies of their ICT infrastructure. There is a list of all the business problems that they have, and so it shouldn't be too hard for you, if you're working with a case study, to identify the problem with the business processes. If you are working in the industry, you are more than welcome to do that, to work on your network, the one that you are very familiar with, and you will have access to informations published on the intranet. You can discuss matters with your colleagues in order to complete this section. Now, if you are bound to confidentiality issues, don't mention the name of the company, change the name, make assumptions, all we are really after is to see that you have achieved competency in analyzing the business processes and how you can facilitate and add the value to the company by modifying the business processes. And point number 3 is the ICT infrastructure overview. Now, you guys, if you have worked on other subject, you will find that you may have done already much of the work. So all you need to do is to review what you have done, making sure that you make the necessary changes so that it conform with point 3 requirements. And they are: point number 1, you need to provide an overview of the current ICT infrastructure, and your discussion is to provide a general description of what the company has in terms of ICT infrastructure and how it works. This point number 1 should be very easy thing for you because you already done it in previous vocational graduate certificate. So therefore we move then to point number 2 of section 3. You propose a system upgrade. This is, of course, this is new to this, and you will need to do an integration of sustainability systems that consist of hardware, software, or both. For example, again, I'll take the example of the blade service and virtualization, and you discuss this proposal in details. So in ICT infrastructure, that's point number 3 or section 3, point number 1, you provide an overview of the ICT infrastructure and how it works. In point number 2, now you need to propose a system upgrade. Now you have the World Medic Corporation case study. You can use that as example and then make that the applicability to the network infrastructure you're actually working on. If you're nothing to relate to, you use that particular case study. Now you notice that there is an upgrade document, the upgrade network proposal, so then you can see how the things are done. So what you need to do, it is to propose a system upgrade. Now you may say, look, we haven't deployed virtualizations here. Well, that's what I'm going to propose for this. It could be anything else, as long as the proposal that you are putting forward, they serve to promote the sustainability for the corporation, and the sustainability outcomes, they are measured in a way of reduction of the current levels of CO2 emissions, which can be achieved primarily by reducing electricity consumption. And virtualization goes a long way in reducing electricity consumptions for ICT infrastructures. And in point number 3, once the upgrade is proposed, you need to explain how this deployment is aligned with the company direction, how the proposed upgrade will assist the company in achieving the stated goals and objectives. Now, in point, I'll bring you back into the point number 1, where you provided a list of descriptions of identified goals and objectives to establish the targeted company strategic direction. The company, for example, strategic directions in may be to project their image is a green company, a company that cares for the environment. At the moment, for example, they are using a lot of electricity, and so therefore their carbon footprint is very high. So the strategic direction would be implying the reductions of CO2 emission, and thus reducing the carbon footprint. So therefore, how in point number 3 here, once your upgrade has been proposed, you need to explain how this deployment, if you want to deploy virtualization, that's fine, but how will this deployment will be aligned with the company's strategic direction. So you need to tie in these points here. you need to tie in. This is what you want to do, fine, but how you're going to do it, how you're going to achieve it. You are proposing some changes to the ICT infrastructure, well and good, but how this proposal is going to assist the company in its strategic directions? Well, it's simple. As I already said, you are now proposing an improvement that will add value to the corporation, and this value is tied in with the strategic directions. They want to reduce their carbon footprint. So that's what you need to explain. That's what you will need to show how this proposed upgrade will assist the company in achieving its strategic objectives. Next, you need to create an organizational chart. You need to produce an organizational chart. We have a little bit of problem here. Organizational chart that identifies all the organizational departments. Where possible, you state that the number of people working in each department. Where detailed information is not available, you are allowed to make assumptions. Now, let us say you work in a small company, right? You work in a small company that may have, say, 3-4 departments: sales, marketing, warehouse, administration. Well, that's all you need to put into your organizational chart. Of course, on top of that, they will have a general manager, they would have, or a managing director, which will have be assisted by a secretary, so to speak. So that's what you need to do. If you work in a large company, it shouldn't be hard for you to get hold of an organizational chart. Again, if not all informations are available, you just make assumptions. Stakeholder analysis. You may already done the stakeholder analysis in the previous subject, so therefore you can import part of or whole modified information that you already submitted for a different subject into here, and you need to modify to comply with this requirement, which, using as a guide the stakeholder analysis table located at page 7 of the stakeholder management reading material, and as you can see here on to the right, this file is available on TAFE Online, and describe, you're going to list and describe all stakeholder identified for the targeted company. In addition to what you may have already done, in this time you need to note that you need to include the external stakeholders as well. There are the suppliers, customers, financial, and other external entities. This is very important for you to have a complete list of external stakeholders, because as you will be approaching to do task number 3 on data flow diagrams, you will need that list. So do not take this matter lightly, because otherwise you will find that you will have to do a lot more work to complete task number 3. Where possible, you consult some of the identified stakeholders for the input of the proposed ICT infrastructure upgrades. So if you actually do work into the industry, well, and then you are, say, in here you are proposing, say, the introductions of blade service or some other upgrade to the ICT infrastructure, you can actually go and have a chat, say, with the IT manager, or you may have a chat with other people working to the department, like system administrators and so on. Okay, so and you may be able to get the input from them on the validity and applicability and of the proposal that you have put forward into this assignment. So in conclusions, for the introductions, you gotta do all of this in 500 words. Now, these 500 words, if you remember that you also have to do the organizational chart, and once you do the organizational chart, you produce the chart and give an explanation of your organizational chart. What we are after, it is to see that you really know the the company that you are working with. How does it work? How can you put it into words? But remember that you are doing a vocational graduate certificate. It's not certificate 2, 3, 4 diploma or advanced diploma. So therefore, a lot of professionalism is expected from you in order for you to be deemed competent into this subject. And with this, we now completed the task number 1 of the business analysis process. Okay, see you in task number 2. In task number 1, we have described the ICT infrastructure. We have explained what it is and how it works. However, we now need to map this ICT infrastructure. And the best way you can do this is by using specialized software such as Microsoft Visio. Now, this is what a network diagram looks like. Right? I've shown, if you have done other subjects before this one here, you have seen this diagram. This is my test diagram that I show to students. Okay, so now what we need to do it is to enable you how to create such a diagram. If you already know how to do it, you can skip this section and move on to section number 3. If not, it is beyond the scope of this subject to teach you how to use Microsoft Visio. However, I'm just going to give you a brief demonstrations on how this can be done. I'm using Visio 2010, and the way you create the diagram is by dragging the icons onto your page. Like, for example, this is a cloud, which we could define this to be the internet, and you can increase the size of your or the color. I'm gonna make it white, and as you can see there, and if this is your town, and we're gonna say that's the city, that's the city of Sydney. You can make it smaller or bigger to suit your diagram. Okay, and so you can then start creating your network. You can pick up all sort of diagrams in here and things that you need. Like, say, that's a firewall, and we want to add a say switch. Okay, you can even rotate or position these the shapes. You can rotate to the right, and so on. You can make it into any position you really want. You can make it that way. You can put it that way there, and then you need to put the links. Like if that is going to be connected to there, then you can right click on the side and you can curve it, and you can adjust it and make it as professional as you want. Right? So, for example, now we may want a router at this particular spot. Right? So there is the router. Oh, there are other objects that you can use. That's also another symbol of the router. Okay, and then you can grab your connectors, and you will connect to the router to the switch. Right click, you select the curve, so you can better manipulate it, as you can see there. Right, and then you may want to put the connections from there to the internet, and right click, you select the curved, and you can even label these. Just go to the pointer tools, and you can click on it, double click, and you see what happens. You type in firewall or any other informations that you find appropriate for your network. So if then you want to add servers, so we got lots of servers here that you can choose from, directory services, FTP server, all of that. So you just pick them up, and you will need to connect them, assuming that we are using a very simple switch here. So it's going to be it was not the best of choice. However, it's okay for to demonstrate how this thing can be done. All right, so then when you are done and you are finished with your diagram, all you need to do is to copy this to your document. So you select it all the way that I just done it, right click on one of the object, select the copy, okay, and that's the easiest way that you can do. This is the document. These are the diagrams that we need to create. So I'm gonna just create a new Word document, and I'm going to paste the diagram in it. As you can see, it's easy done. IT professionals need to be able to create professional documents, and this is your opportunities to show off your ability to do that. You will have to be competent in creating a network diagram. So as you can read within the please note here for network diagram, the intended audience for this network diagram is the company management membership, which may or may not have ICT expertise in understanding the diagram. Your explanation descriptions of how the system works must be written in an easy to understand language. So using, as I said here, Microsoft Visio, or other suitable software, produce a professional diagram of the current ICT infrastructure. The diagram must also be provided with explanation descriptions on how the ICT infrastructure works. Your discussion must narrate using simple and easy to understand language, jargon-free, how the current system works. See example in Appendix A. So please note, the proposed upgrade must be clearly identified on the network diagram and must show how it integrates with the existing ICT infrastructure. So do you remember that you need to do in the assessment here, where you have a proposed system upgrade for the integration of suitability and consisting of hardware and software, you may want to review the tutorial for task number 1, but whatever you have proposed, it must be shown into the network diagram. Now let's go and see the example again that I have here. That's the narration. Now have a look. That's the diagram, and that's the sample diagram description. Alright, the DMZ and trusted zones are protected by 2 firewalls running ISO Server 2008 that will filter all incoming traffic and block threats before these can penetrate through the firewall. And as you can see them there, I have explained how, in this sample how this firewall works and how the penetrations from the internet may be prevented. So the DMZ deploys all services that need to be directly connected to the internet, such as email, service, web service, e-commerce, etc. And I have placed them all here into the DMZ. They are protected by this firewall, so any connection that wants to come onto the say to our web servers or to Exchange servers, they are directly connected, and the trusted zone, it is protected and isolated. Then in the next point, the trusted zone is made of 3 operational sites connected together by frame relay connections provided by Telstra, and as you can see, that's the frame relay, and you have the 3 operational site, Brisbane, Melbourne and Sydney. The next point was internet connection to all operational sites is distributed by Sydney head office. Security is further applied through the use of proxy servers. So what if this guy in Brisbane wants to connect to the internet, does not have a direct connection like you will have it at home. Now it has to go through the Sydney operational sites, and this firewall is also a proxy server, so will prevent access to the internet for unauthorized users. So the person operating from this computer has to be authorized to be able to connect to the internet. So there is lots of applicability for network security, and also we have here SQL servers are located at Sydney head office, while read-only SQL servers are located to other operational sites. Now if you don't understand what I just said here, okay, you may not have understanding on how the SQL servers they work, but that is not required for this. You need to describe the network that you are showing. Mine is only an example, and as I said, the SQL servers are all here, and read-only. They are located into all operational sites. So the next is all workstations and servers are installed with the antivirus client software, file definition, and updated by dedicated antivirus servers. So then you see the word other, it means that there is a lot more to say. So this is only an example, all right, just to guide you to ensure that you produce a network diagram of 4-point task number 2, which is professional, that you can be proud of. And if you're gonna go for a promotion, you're doing this to be promoted in your current workplace, then you can show them all the work that you have done, providing that you do professional work for a professional job. And with this now I will stop, and we will go on to task number 3.